Hello again. I am working on the tinies and littles pattern. I am on step number 6. I'm currently on Barnaby Bear is who I'm working on. I'm on step number 6, which is stuff the bear. So I have my little bear that I've been sewing through, Strawberry Bear, and I have my stuffing. I use polyfill. I actually buy like 20 or 25 pound boxes of it at a time. You can also use wool. You can also use, I like to use leftover scrap yarn when I'm stuffing my knitted version. But for this one, I'm just gonna show you with this polyfill. And then I have a chopstick, just a regular chopstick. So how I like to start the bear is in his ears. So I pull out just a teeny, see how that's not much stuffing, and that's probably even more than I need for ears. And then I break it into 2 pieces. Yeah, I'm gonna break that one down a little bit more. And I kind of make it like pea size with my hand and then make sure they're a similar size. And then that's where I'll start stuffing. So I'm gonna find the hole for stuffing here. And then I'm going to use my chopstick. I have another cool stuffing tool, but I can't seem to find it, that has like a little X on the end, and that helps push the stuffing in. But if yours has a square end like that, that can help push it in as you're going to. So I'm pushing that up. It's right by the ear now. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's a squishy bit. So I'm going to turn to the pointy end, push the stuffing in. You just need a tiny bit for these guys because they're so little. So they're about 3 inches tall finished. So there's my other piece of stuffing that I know is similar size for the ears. I'll do the same thing for the arms to make them, you know, kind of evenly sized. I like to almost measure the stuffing, if you will, before I put it in the bear. So I'm just working this in, push it towards the other ear with that square end, and then I'm turning to the pointy end to push it into the ear. So that's about finished. These take a surprising amount of time for me to stuff. Honestly, they probably take 6 to 8 minutes each. So I just grabbed another chunk for the arms. I'm gonna break it into 2. That might actually be a little bit more than I want. So I'm actually gonna take some off and then kind of combine these into 1 and then kind of break that in half so they look about even. That looks about good. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that one down aside, and then I'll go ahead and start this one in, using that square end to push towards the arm again. Once it gets towards the arm, I use the pointy end, push it in. Again, make sure not to push too hard, just like when we were turning the bear in the last step, because if you push, I've definitely pushed too hard with the stuffing and had the seam rip out and fray. So, okay, other arm. I'm gonna put that in a little bit by hand, square end of the chopstick, move that over this way this time, towards this arm, have most of it in so I can come in with the pointy end, push that in. Okay, let's see if you can see that. So, it might be a little hard to see, but he's got 2 squishy arms and 2 squishy ears at this point. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and start in the head next, add a little bit. I'm just gonna add a little bit at a time, it's not much. And I don't know if you noticed, but so on the arms and ears, I kind of balled it up, but on that one, I pulled it from the bigger chunk and then I kind of pulled it apart. I like to do that when I'm stuffing it. Seems like it helps it shape better if you have it kind of really loose and not tight in, if that makes sense. So I'm just putting the stuffing up in the head, using that square end of the chopstick to move it around. I'm gonna put a little bit more in, maybe like that. So I have half the head kind of stuffed, so I'm gonna push these into the other half. And then once I get in here, I think I'll go ahead and move down to the legs. Yeah, so that's starting to take some shape. Can you see that on the camera? I'm gonna go ahead and push this on this side too. Okay, so I have the head more or less stuffed, and now I'm gonna move to this leg first. I can probably do more than that. That's just a little bit, but let's grab a little bit more and add that together on the legs because they're a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the square end and push it down in here into the leg. I don't know if you can see, like I'm push it in and then kind of put my finger on it and help manipulate. So yes, I like to, watch a TV show or something while I'm doing this. So one leg kind of stuffed. I'll add a little bit more. I like to add to this leg where the opening is sooner rather than later, because otherwise it can be a little bit tricky as you're getting it closed to kind of have to get stuffing down in that leg when it's open, you know, on the side seam. So this stuffing is not wanting to go in at all. So I pushed it into the middle a little bit more instead of trying to get it down the leg, and now I'm trying to manipulate it down the leg more. So it's up to you on how firm or how light you want to stuff these. I've had varying luck. Some get stuffed firmer than others. I used a woven fabric on some. I didn't need quite as much stuffing on those, but this quilting cottons seem like they can get really ripply in the fabric if you don't stuff them pretty taut. So I'm gonna go kind of in this area. There's a chunk. It's surprising how much time it takes to stuff these because they're so small, right? All right. So I'm just adding some more up in there. I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of like digging under and then pushing up. And just very patiently, tiny sewing takes a lot of patience. So just getting that in there. Okay, you can see he's stuffed a little bit more. So we'll grab another chunk, put that kind of in the middle here. I think it'd be really cute to add like Beanie Baby beans to these too. I keep thinking that and then I haven't done it. So maybe eventually I will, but right now we're just on stuffing. I have some beans, I just haven't done it. All right, so I'm still adding stuffing in there. Just kind of gently, whoa, not wanting to go in. Okay, so let's take a look at it where it is now. Yeah, you can see it takes a surprising amount, right, for how small it is. And then you can see how this can be kind of weird as you're stuffing, because it doesn't necessarily hold its shape because it has that open seam. So that's pretty good chunk, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that in since we're nearing completion here. So you just kind of keep grabbing. You really do need some kind of tool like a chopstick or a stuffing stick to get the stuffing in on these guys because they're so tiny. So keep adding stuffing. You know, you can kind of look back and see where you're at with it and decide. You can see that's a little bit lumpy in there, so you could even manipulate what's already in there up a little bit. And I'm gonna do another fairly good sized chunk. And I think we're just about done here, and then we'll finish up this last leg with the opening. So let's put this chunk in. I'm kind of feeding it into that leg too as I'm going, feeding some of it up this way as well. Taking more shape there. So I think right here is kind of where we're at now. So let's see what we can do. I'm just gonna use this huge chunk and see where I go with it. I'm gonna push some of it into the middle like this, and then I'm gonna push some down, and then I'm even actually gonna push some up in here too. And then more back into the middle, back in there, all around, in the leg, up the side. Yeah, you know, it's getting there. Yep, see what I'm saying? Now there's this flat spot right there, but you know, you could kind of honestly squish them out. Honestly, I think that's probably pretty done. I like to check if the fabric's rippling, but you can see I also squish, you know, from the outside too to help with the shaping. I don't know if you can see there's a little bit of a crease there. That's kind of what I was talking about with the quilting cotton, but honestly, it's probably pretty good. I'm just gonna call it done because I tend to way overdo it. So I'll show you this one, right? He looks a lot squishier and this one's softer. I don't know if you can even see that difference, but I'm comparing. Okay, so I'm gonna call this one good for now, so as I'm still manhandling it. And I'm gonna call this video done, and I will be back in a few to close this little seam up, and then I'll do one more video on how to do the face. So I will see you then.